Week 5 of the Smogon Summer Seasonal has arrived, and this week, very early episode, because I just got done playing my match. Usually, what happens right when I finish my match, I pretty much record that night, and then I put my match very early this week, which means an early episode for y'all. So I'm gonna jump right into the fucking matchup. This week, I was facing the opponent known as Meta, and they had a team consisting of Greninja, Deoxys Speed, Garchomp, Rotom Wash, Tinkaton, Weezing Gather, Houndstone, and Farigiraf, with Greninja and Farigiraf being the Terra captains. At face value, this team is not too crazy. They don't have any mons that are impossible to deal with or super threatening. Most of my team has at least one or two ways to shut down any of their Pokemon. But a lot of their mons have crazy set variants, like Greninja and Deoxys. They have a lot of shit they can run. They could be Protean, Battlebond, Deoxys, and Greninja. They both have giant move pools. So at face value, Primarina actually looks pretty good here. It can trade pretty well into most things, notably walling both the Greninja stab types while having a fast speed F stat. Although Greninja does have access to Sludge Wave. Tinkaton can be a problem for it if they run Speed F Tinkaton, which should eat the hits pretty well, do a shit ton back with Gigaton. But besides those two kind of problem matchups, and I guess Rotom technically, but depending on the Primarina set and the Rotom set, Prim can pretty much win that 1v1. Prim looks pretty good. Chi-Yu, of course, although Greninja resists both stabs, we all know that shit is not a switch in. Chi-Yu will claim anything if we just click Flamethrower or Dark Pulse into it, so that makes it a very potent breaker. Rillaboom looking kind of bad because of most notably Galarian Weezing, who walls it to shit with Levitate, and then Farigiraf with Sap Sipper, making it so I can't just click Grassy Glide into whatever. And even Houndstone kind of being annoying with Fluffy. Although it is important in revenge killing stuff like Deoxys and Greninja, and even Garchomp, if it sets up skill shot shit, gets its defense dropped. Sneasler looks pretty good again. Houndstone, though, is a major problem. That shit cannot break Houndstone if it's running defensive Fluffy. And then it gets a Will-O-Wisp and it's shitting itself. Same with Galarian Weezing. Although it can break it much easier, if it does get Will-O-Wisp, it's really bad. Garganackle is always annoying, especially with choosing the Terra type to wall. Pick and choose what you wall. And Sinistcha is also pretty good, but once again, it comes into conflict with wanting that Terra slot for itself, but Garganackle needs it so much more, which kind of makes it a conflicting choice for my team. And Registeel actually looking pretty decent for a fat Speed F wall that can wolf both Gren and Deoxys pretty easily with that base 150 Speed F. It also sits on stuff like Weezing, Farigiraf, and even Rotom. So that is the team pretty much at face value. Let's go right into the team itself. Chi-Yu, we're running the same set we have been running. Choice specs Modest with just classic Flamethrower, Dark Pulse, Overheat, Fire Blast. This is all it needs. It doesn't need any. It really only needs Flamethrower and Dark Pulse, but Overheat and Fire Blast are there just in case we need the little extra edge to maybe Overheat could get the range on a Garchomp switch in, for instance. So yeah, pretty self-explanatory. We can just move on. Rillaboom, I opted to go for a Grassy Glide, Drum Beating High Horsepower Swords Dance set with a Lumberry. I actually thought a lot about Rillaboom, and I almost fell to the dark side and ran Special Rillaboom with Giga Drain, Earth Power, Boom Burst, and Grassy Glide. Specifically because I know that Weezing is going to be physically defensive, and also because of Houndstone, Fluffy, Giga Drain, but then I ran the Calx and I thought about it for a long time. Earth Power really, it does the same amount to no Speed F Weezing that High Horsepower does to the physically defensive Weezing. So, and also Drum Beating allows us to bypass Fluffy because it doesn't make contact. So with those two things in mind, running Special Rillaboom is just although kind of cool, it's kind of just shit. 60 special attack is really pitiful, weaker than fucking Sobble. So definitely just wasn't worth it. So we ended up going with this set. Lumberry in case Houndstone or Weezing wants to try and burn us, or even Rotom wants to try and Will-O-Wisp on like a switch in. So yeah, that's what we said. We're just running max HP because we don't need speed for anything, and it also might help us get a hit. Sneasler, we're running another classic, just the Grassy Seed on Burden with CC, Dire Claw, Swords Dance, and then for this round we went with Night Slash, specifically for Houndstone. I chose Night Slash over Throat Chop just because like the crit factor I thought might come in clutch over like the marginal damage increase on Night Slash. I thought a lot about Facade in case of like Will-O-Wisp from like any of the 3 mods I've mentioned, but at the end of the day I was like, I really don't just want to get completely silenced by Houndstone, so I ended up going with Night Slash over that. 32 speed EVs allows us to always outspeed a +1 Greninja if it gets the Battle Bond off. Makes it so we can Reg Kill it. Max attack, and then the rest into HP. Primarina, we're running Boots with Surf and Draining Kiss, Calm Mind, and this time Substitute. If given the opportunity, it can set up Calm Minds and become very annoying to kill, with Draining Kiss getting all of its HP back. Max HP, max special attack, pretty standard stuff here. Yeah, that's really all there is to say about Prim here. Garg, we're running max defense, max HP, Terra Water. I really thought about the Terra type for Garg for like a while, because I needed a type that wasn't weak to Ground, Dragon, Water, Dark, Psychic, Poison, and Ice, which are the type and Fighting. The coverage moves that like Greninja, Deoxys, and Garchomp all might run, and Water was the best one of those by far. We also could have run like Bug, but like fuck Terra Bug, nobody wants that. So yeah, we went with Water instead. The only thing that could really threaten this is like Rotom with Volt switching and stuff, and Discharge, Thunderbolt, whatever, and like a Grass Knot on Greninja. But I knew they were gonna run Grass Knot because they couldn't afford to fit that into their move slot, and it just doesn't really make a lot of sense in general. So yeah, that's why we did it. We ran Salt, Cure, Protect, Recover, which are pretty self-explanatory, and then we ran Ice Punch just to snipe Garchomp, because this thing's main role really is just to switch into Garchomp and either kill it or just chip it enough so that it gets revenged by Rillaboom or Sneasler, because I don't want Garchomp getting out of hand. So yeah, that was Garg's set. Last but not least, finally making his debut on the team. Only took 5 weeks. We have the Titan Registeel running Max Spadef with 438. So fat. Anyway, Registeel running lefties, running Body Slam for attacking for that chance to para, and so it's just kind of neutral against everything mostly. Unfortunately, it lost Seismic Toss in the transition from Gen 8 to Gen 9, which is really shitty for it. So yeah, if we had that, I definitely would have ran it, but Body Slam will have to survive Thunder Wave to get guaranteed paras on a problem on like Greninja or Deoxys, or even, well, I guess not Garchomp. So those two pretty much. Stealth Rock for hazards, and then Rest to take get its HP back. Really, the only thing I really needed this to do was just come in on the potential Life Orb Gren and Life Orb Deoxys, sponge the hits, let them chip themselves, and just live and eat hits. That's all it had to really do. So yeah, that's Registeel, first time on the team, and that is a team breakthrough, and we will go right to the replay. So something I forgot to mention actually in the team breakdown is I was really worried about them running a Spikes offense with Houndstone to spin block, which is why I really wanted to bring Donphan, but not only could I not slot it, but also I was just scared of being spin blocked. But I had team preview, they end up not bringing the dog, which was a relief to me. Honestly, with this team, I feel like they could have brought really any of their mons, although not bringing Tinkaton was definitely like the most expected, because that guy's not very good. But like, it was a complete toss-up between like Rotom or what was his name for the dog Houndstone. So this is what they end up bringing at lead. I actually thought about this lead for a long time because I was like, it was really hard because I don't want them to lead Garchomp because it's like kind of like really hard to switch into. on late, especially if Garg isn't Terra'd. And I didn't want them to lead Deoxys and like fuck me up instantly with like a Psycho boost. Lose all my HP and just become unable to kill things. Registeel makes sense for a lead to get up Stealth Rocks, but like it's really bad in the Garchomp and I lose so much momentum and I'm just completely fucked. So I ended up going with Rillaboom for my lead here, as they end up leading Rotom Wash. Now, for those who don't know, Farigiraf gets Sap Sipper as an ability, so I expected that to be a switch in right here, or even Weezing. So on this first turn, they go into Weezing as I go into Primarina, which is a nice neutral or a nice mid ground between the two. Also accounts for like if they go for a Will-O-Wisp, or which is kind of an insane play obviously, but or if they go for like a raw Hydro Pump and a Chiyu. In hindsight, I definitely should have just gone Chiyu here. It was super free and it would have put me up so far in momentum, but I don't know. I made the safe mid ground. Also, by the way, forgot to go over this. The Greninja is Terra type because we played Terra preview. The Greninja is Poison type Terra, and the Farigiraf is Fighting. So they go Weezing. I switch out because I don't want to take a Sludge Bomb and just lose all my chances of being useful. So I go hard into Chiyu because I know it's going to take it. As they end up switching back into Rotom. I get scared of Scarf Hydro Pump, so I make my third switch on the third turn into Registeel to eat its hits, as they end up going for Light Screen. We're going to be screens. We eat a Volt Switch as they go into Garchomp, and I just set up rocks. Go right into Garg because the terrain is up, so they can't hit me with like an Earthquake. As they set up rocks, and now I can get the Terra off as they switch into Farigiraf, take rocks, and reveal to be Covert Cloak, which is quite annoying. Now this Farigiraf is kind of an issue because with Terra fighting, Registeel doesn't really wall it anymore if they have Terra Blast, which is pretty likely. So I end up going into Primarina just to use this natural Speed F as they do hit a nasty plot. I call mine to lessen the blow and also strengthen myself as they end up doing a reasonable 39%. They end up switching into Rotom as I surf because I couldn't Draining Kiss because of the heal block. They end up going for Discharge here, which I really didn't expect them to have. I really thought they would just Volt Switch out. Or like I thought they would be Hydro Pump, Volt Switch, Reflect, Light Screen. But no, they're ending up running double Electric Stab. Are they running double Electric Stab? Did they Volt Switch earlier? Yeah, they did. Okay, I don't know why I forgot. So yeah, they're running double Electric Stab, which is weird. Which explains actually why they... Never mind. So they Discharge here. I take a lot as I go for a Substitute, expecting Volt Switch. That way I would be able to just be annoying to whatever comes in. I Draining Kiss here for a pathetic amount of damage. And then on the Discharge, I actually go for Surf because it's stronger because of Torrent, but it still doesn't kill. And I end up switching into Registeel here just to save the sack because there's no reason to let Prim die, especially when Registeel eats so well. I get parried here as they Volt Switch out, still just taking the hits. They go into Garchomp on a full para, which really it doesn't matter because Body Slam would have bounced off and I would take a shit ton from Rough Skin. Go hard into Garg here as they Swords Dance, and now it's dangerous. They do Stomping Tantrum, revealing not to be Earthquake, which makes sense because of Rillaboom, grassy terrain. I do eat that up for fucking breakfast though, as I go for a Salt Cure and start getting some chip. They reveal to be Leftovers, and this was a misplay. Not a misplay, but like a misread on the situation in the game. I calced it here. I lived 4-hit Skill Shot, but died a 5-hit Skill Shot. So I was really worried about dying here, and like I have Ice Punch just to snipe this, but I didn't want to die. Like it was between like should I recover, should I protect, but what I should have realized is that they just revealed that they're Leftovers, so they're not running Skill Shot. Nobody runs Skill Shot without loaded dice. Have you ever used that shit in Gen 8? It's terrible. It never lands more than twice, and it loses you games. So I should have realized that they're not going to Scale Shot here, and I can just Ice Punch freely without the stress, but I did stress over it. But I do end up like Ice Punching because at the end of the day, Garg just needs to kill this so it can't come in and be annoying later. And so I end up Ice Punching as they go for a Sword Stance. Ice Punch does a fuck ton, does 71. The Salt Cure brings it down. I protect here to let the Salt Cure get another tick. Although, unfortunately, Leftovers goes first and they live. So I decide to sack Prim here as it's pretty much useless. And they die, which is fine by me. We keep Garg alive, and we get rid of a big threat in Garchomp. Now here, I thought about it. Registeel V is pretty good into pretty much everything here, actually. So it's like the perfect mon to go into. Chiyu would be really good if they go Rotom, Weezing, or Fergraph, but like, if you really think about it, it doesn't make sense for them to do any of that shit. And Deoxys just makes the most sense here because it threatens everything since it's Life Orb. So that's why I went Registeel. Although I don't know it's Life Orb yet, but I do know now because it hits me with a fucking superpower. It does a shit ton. Takes the Life Orb as I go for a Body Slam, get some Chip. Does nothing even with the defense drop. Again, in hindsight, I should have rested here just so I could keep smudging the hits from Life Orb. It would have done a lot less with the subsequent superpower because of the attack drop. And I would keep it healthy for like Greninja and shit. But I don't do that, so Registeel ends up going down to a second superpower, and that was the fucking featured mon of the thumbnail. So I hope you guys enjoyed Registeel. We bring out Rillaboom because it's the only thing that can actually revenge kill this. But since I know they need to keep this shit alive, I double on their Weezing into the God Chiyu, and he is here to claim a soul. So we get that play correct. They do end up sucking Rotom though, which, I mean, makes perfect sense. So she doesn't really get a kill here, but that's alright. They go into Greninja here, and this was like a really horrible turn, just thinking about it. Because I don't have anything to like kill this really. Surf is just gonna fuck me up. And it's gonna take the combined efforts of like Garganackle sack into Rillaboom sack to get Grassy Glide Chip because you're gonna Terra Poison and then Sneasler. And Sneasler's gonna have to basically 1v4 the rest of these mons. It kills the Draft, it kills Greninja with the Grassy Glide Chip. But the main problem is Weezing. You need an SD to really even have a chance at breaking through it, and like if they Will-O-Wisp me, it's completely Jove. Possibly. Depends though, because I might like eat Strange Sheeps. It's like it's a whole headache to think about. So I just end up staying in as they Swords Dance, and Chiyu crits the Flamethrower, knocking that ass out, which is so clutch. I will talk about this more later, but yeah, that crit is super clutch. So Greninja goes down, they bring out Deoxys, and now the win con is obvious. Let Deoxys kill itself to Life Orb, and then Chiyu clicks Flamethrower. So we sack Garg here, who's outlived its usefulness as a superpower here. Unfortunately though, the terrain is going to let them live another Life Orb recoil. And I know that they need to keep this alive, so I'm like, they're gonna go to fucking Fergraph here. So as they switch into Fergraph, I make the second Chiyu double and get that ass. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but anyway, someone's dying to Flamethrower is what I'm trying to say. They Terra Fight here, but I obviously Flamethrower because I know that. Also, it kills anyway, so there's no point Dark Pulsing. They bring back out Deoxys. I just sack Garg because Chiyu has won. Garg eats that shit for breakfast. Deoxys is dead, and they forfeit knowing that it's futile. And we win week 5, 5-0. Oh, holy shit. I was so nervous playing this game. But I'm really happy that we won. Chiyu was super giga clutch. So let me go. I said I would talk about this a little more. So let me go back to the turn right here. So I Flamethrower, it does crit 88. I end up calculating this. It does somewhere between like high 70 to like 90 to no SpDef. So it's a roll. But I talked to my opponent at the end of the game, and they tell me they were running 60 SpDef on their Greninja, which means it does 83 max. So this crit did end up mattering actually. And what I would have done had this not killed, I would have sacked Garg, and the way I envision it, they would have liquidated. Guard would have lived, being at half and resisting, and then they would have killed me with like their other move, Gunk Shot, which they had. They were Gunk Shot and Shadow Sneak and Liquidation and Sword Stance, which is kind of crazy. So Garg would have died, and that would have taken 3 turns, because another turn of grassy terrain here, then the Garg switching, and then it dying. So we would have had no grassy terrain, and I would have had to go Rillaboom to revenge kill this. But then it becomes a horrible double on whether they're going to go hard into Farigiraf with Sap Sipper, or they're going to go Wheezing, and whether I need to double back into Chiyu. And even if they stay in, they end up revealing that, or they tell me, that their Farigiraf was, what am I saying? It was Trick Room. So if I go Rillaboom and kill this, they can go into Farigiraf and like set up Trick Room and get very scary for my team. Actually, I can show you their team. I have it pulled up. The Paste. This is what they were rocking. Icy Paw, Second Noise, Terra Blast, Trick Room on Farigiraf. So Farigiraf could have just like completely fucked me up there. Had if they Sacred Ninja on their Rillaboom, and then like yeah, I don't know. Like it's hard to picture exactly how it all goes down. Although I guess I should have calced if high horsepower 2-hit KOs, because they're not gonna OHKO me with fucking Farigiraf and Trick Room, because I'm a goddamn Rillaboom, and I'm max HP. So it's like it's high horsepower 2-hit KO. They're max HP. It probably doesn't OHKO, and I'm probably fucked. So yeah, it would have been very scary. Even Deoxys has fucking priority. Also, their Wheezing had Psybeam, which could have sniped Sneasler. I lived pretty easily, but it definitely 2-hit KOs. So I would have needed to get lucky with like Dire Claw shit. So yeah, honestly, like super blessed crit. I've been getting very blessed this run, and I'm very grateful because I want to win so fucking bad. Last week, I ended up saying that I was 1 win away from getting top cut. That was actually misinformation from my stupid ass. Apparently, there's 9 rounds of Summer Season, which I thought there were 8. And if you lose 3, you lose top cut. So I need to win 7 games to make it into top cut, and I've won 5. So I can only lose 2 before not making it in. So basically, I just need to win 50% of the games going on or going forward, which I mean, with this record, should be possible. Although the games, like, they only get harder as my opponents are also people who have only won. That's just how you get matched up. So, yeah, it's gonna be fucking difficult. But happy to make it this far. Happy to win again. Hopeful for making top cut, and then we'll go from there. Honestly, winning, even getting into top cut is like a crazy dream. And then if I won the whole thing, that would be insane. I don't have any plans to win the whole thing. I don't think that would happen. But yeah, I'm just happy to be making it this far and making these videos. So thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, and I will see you for week 6.